Depending on how things go, Tuesday the 25th, we may have a new Farming Simulator 25 announced. And to celebrate that possibility, I'm recording this the day before, so I don't know yet, I'm going to go through my top 25 features that I want for the new Farming Simulator game. Now, it's important to know that I actually created a list of almost 60 things, and I dwindled it down to 25 because this might just be Farming Simulator 25. Getting right into it, these are in no particular order. Number 1 is real weather. In farming, weather is probably your main worry and the biggest thing that you are fighting throughout the entire year. In the beginning of the year, you're hoping that it gets thawed out so you can get in the field soon enough, but also that it isn't too wet so that you can't get in the field anymore. But you also want to hope that it still rains so that your crop grows, because if it's too dry, then your crop won't grow. I mean, it's just weather is so impactful to farming, and in Farming Simulator, currently, it's just far too easy. Number 2 on the list is baby animals. I would really like some baby animals to be introduced, and of course anything that needs to be added to kind of support that. So if we need to bottle feed, that would be awesome. If we need to provide the little calf huts, those would be really cool. Some more in-depth stuff going along with the animals. I would really like to see baby animals. They are adorable. There was a mod in Farm Sim 22 that actually did bless us with some baby animals, and honestly, that mod probably has got to be up there for one of the best mods in Farm Sim because of that. That mod is so awesome. But on to number 3, I have personal business finance. So I want each player that joins, whether you play single player, multiplayer, whatever, I want each player to have a bank account associated with their player. You are a person in this world, so you should be allowed to buy things, to own things, to sell things. You should be allowed to have money. I want to improve that immersion level, okay? And having a sense of ownership, especially in a multiplayer environment where it makes the game far more dynamic, is so huge. And it's just something that is a little too difficult in the game, and it's a small, easy fix. Number 4. This is because of the recent train mod that released. I want custom trains, y'all. I think the train is underutilized, and I think that mod has a significant amount of potential. I love the idea of being able to customize your carts and the order of them, be able to swap tracks around and swap your carts around and kind of size your engines up and down and actually build and lay new track. All of that, super, super, super cool, especially with the farm production stuff that Farm Sim had going on with the warehouses and the trucking. You know, I think they could even expand that just a hair more and include, of course, the custom trains along with it. Number 5. This one, it might sound a little harsh, Giants. I'm sorry. I love you. You know I do. And it's because I love you that I have to say I want all new graphics. But Bubba, look, it's 2024. We got things like the Unreal Engine 5. Okay, I've watched video games where I've had to go, wait, is this real life? And then I've had to convince my grandparents that it was a video game. So I would like to see all new graphics, an all new engine if that's what it takes. But regardless, all new graphics. I want the look to be different. I want it to be new. It's been the same since FS 19. 17 was the last big difference. So yeah, it's been a while, and I think we're due for a bit of a change in how the game looks. Number 6 on my list is an improved multiplayer experience. This might be number 6, but I need you to hear it because it's very important. Giants, I plead to you, please give me a direct connect option so I can connect to whatever multiplayer server or game directly with the IP address. Every other game gives you a direct connect option to go around the server list because every other game acknowledges that the server list often doesn't work. And I promise you, as someone who does this job every single day as their job, the server list often doesn't work. okay? Additionally, I think it would be a huge improvement if we also got server-side mod hosting. It's more secure for the mods. It's more secure for the people who make the mods, for the people who own the server. It's more secure for the people who play the game. It's faster and more convenient for the people who play the game. They don't have to download a file off the internet and try to hope they don't get a virus and then understand how to put it in the proper folder in the documents, my games, blah, blah, blah. It's just join the server and the mods stream to the client from the server side. And now we're on to number 7, herd and turnout livestock. So, back onto my livestock kick. I think there's a lot about livestock we need to improve. One of the big things, you gotta be able to herd them. I want to be able to herd them either by walking around and maybe whistling, by using my dog. We have dogs on Farm Sim. We could use a UTV or an ATV. We could go out and herd. We could do it on horseback. We can ride horses in Farm Sim. Finally, horses have a use. That is a major part of farming, especially animal farming, okay? Like when you are doing ranching, 95% of your job is kind of that kind of stuff. I mean, we don't have to get all the way into doing the tags in the ears and doing the vaccinations, but we could. But you're always working cattle. You're always moving your livestock. It's just a huge thing. Number 8 on my list is a manual transmission, a real manual transmission that supports for semis too. Okay, and I want to see force feedback in Farming Simulator. There's not really force feedback. FS22 likes to claim to be the first game of Farm Sim with force feedback. I beg to differ, okay? Sorry, I beg to differ. There ain't no force feedback in Farm Sim. I'd like to get some force feedback, so let's get that thrown in there. That would really improve the immersion and people's, playing experience when they use a wheel. Number 9, we've got dynamic environment and soil water management. Pretty much what I mean is I want an environment that reacts to not only its own condition, but also the player's input as well. So if it's been raining a lot, I want soil to be able to erode. If a player has been driving through a field, I want that to be compacted. If a player is ripping up soil, I want that soil to be loose and maybe it gets washed out a little in rain. You could actually have a purpose for having some sections in grass and not doing big slopes or low points in crop. It makes you more thoughtful in what you're doing, and I think it would be a great kind of educational and more in-depth aspect of the game. Number 10. I've thrown this one in here just to sum up like a lot of what people want in Farm Sim. This one's called More Everything. That's right, more everything. I know, it's a good one. What I mean by that is if you want more tractors, if you want more brands, if you want more whatever it is, you want more buildings, you want more maps, you want more, I don't care what it is. You want more crops, you want more livestock, you simply want more of what's already in the game. This is the one for you. More everything, baby. Number 10. Number 11. Arcade and simulation mode. So at the very beginning, when you're launching your game right now in Farm Sim 22, and for the last little while, you would get greeted with a difficulty screen where you choose between 3 options, essentially easy, medium, and hard. That is great and fantastic, but I want to rework that a little bit. I think instead, I want to see arcade and simulation. That way, if you're someone who wants an easier experience, someone who is not as farming focused, then you can get the arcade, more basic and easy to play experience. But if you're someone who's looking for a simulator, farming simulator, then we kind of need to offer a real simulation option. I mean, look at Train Simulator. On to our next one, number 12, is actually HUDless gameplay. Again, interactivity is very important, especially in a simulator, which is what Farming Simulator 25 is. And I think it would be very nice to be able to actually utilize controls in the cabin, or at the very least, the screens in the cabin. This kind of boils into the arcade versus simulation options, but a HUDless opportunity for Farming Simulator means that you made the base game, the experience of the game, that much more immersive because you're not reliant on these floating HUDs that make it so obvious you're playing a video game. Number 13 on my list is real equipment maintenance. So right now the maintenance is some time goes by and you gotta spend money, and you gotta spend a lot of money, and you gotta keep spending that money all the time, because as time goes by you have to spend money even more. Don't dare go over 50 hours, because then you're gonna spend more money than the thing is darn near worth, and it's gonna depreciate like holy heck because you haven't painted it, even though it looks fine, and the price to repaint it is exorbitant in total value. But then you go to repaint it and all of a sudden the tractor's worth $1 bajillion again, and nothing makes sense. How about this? Maybe I can get a flat tire and I need to fix it. Maybe I need to grease some things. Maybe I need to oil some things. Maybe I need to take it to a mechanic and they need to give me a list and I can pick and choose a few things, and those are the things that gets done. Maybe we get a little bit more choice and realism in how the maintenance is handled. Number 14, GPS and precision farming technology. I know we have the precision farming DLC, but there's even more to that sort of stuff than what that gets into. There's a lot more, and I want to see some of that present. That way, for those of you who want the simulation stuff, you got it. And also, GPS is just a nice quality of life thing, and not having it sucks. It sucks so bad. GPS is a huge part of the farming industry nowadays, right? It needs to be in Farming Simulator. So I think we need to add that in. Additionally, other farming technology stuff is like the drones for spraying. The spray drones are very cool. Those are automated. They just fly back to your trailer. You refill them, they fly back out, and they start spraying again. Super cool stuff like that. I want to start seeing in Farm Sim, so those who want to play with it have the opportunity to. Number 15 on my list is going to be production chains refocused and a rebalancing of the economy. So production chains is cool and great, but I want to see it shift just a little bit to be more focused on what kind of farmers would actually be into a little bit. You've done a great job with the very last DLC for Farm Sim 22. It gave us an opportunity to more or less make a farmer's market, which is perfect. This is exactly what I'm asking for. More things like this, more direct-to-consumer options, more home-owned, local storefront, come get your eggs, come get your meat, I'm the local butcher. More of this kind of small-town vibe stuff. I, as a farmer, don't really want to own a huge factory. That feels weird. That being said, I don't think you take that away. I think there's definitely a demographic to which that is a huge value. I just think it needs that smaller, more community-focused element, and you really started to hit that with the last DLC for Farm Sim, so we're on the right track. On to number 16, though, we've got player customization and emotes. So I want even more player customization. 22 did a very good job giving us player customization. I want to take it a step further. They kind of sort of tried by giving us the wardrobe mod and making it to where we could technically kind of sort of make our own stuff, but that's a little too complicated, and I want to see an easier in-game option to get your custom farm clothing or whatever, your business clothing, whatever it is you're trying to do. Help facilitate that just a little bit more natively in-game would be fantastic, and providing emotes for your players as well, being able to sit down, drink coffee, pull out a hammer, wrench, crawl underneath the combine or tractor, I don't know, whatever, like just things that farmers might have to do. Again, build that immersion a little bit better. And since we're on the topic of using Mark Zuckerberg's favorite word, number 17, Immersion Improvements. That's right. So more or less what I'm saying is I want VR in Farm Sim. It's time we get it. VR must come to Farm Sim. That's a huge thing that we're missing. Along with that, they've kind of made this small improvement in 22 with the audio, but I want to take that even further and improve the audio all around throughout the entire game and have complete spatial audio. I want you to feel like you are in that space. I want you to hear things in the direction that they are, at the volume they would be. I want things to sound proper. Number 18, online economy. I think it'd be really cool to be able to optionally sell and buy your crops, equipment, products, and whatever to other players online. So you could have an online market where you sell a piece of equipment or a crop or a business or building or whatever it is. I don't care what it is. It could go up for sale in this online connected marketplace. People could buy it. They could bid for it. You could have auctions along with the community. You could have an online auction selling livestock and people could bid on them. You could have people who then, are just doing nursing, and you could have people that are then just doing, lot feeding. You get people that are doing grass turnout. There's so much that comes by giving an online dynamic economy for the players to interact with each other. Number 19, I want to do a phone and tablet menu option. I talked about this just a little bit earlier. I really want to be able to not use the HUD and use something completely different to see everything. They had a PDA, a deal that would pop up. It was like a phone kind of deal back in FS 11 and maybe some of the other ones. I really, really liked that. I want to see that back, or at least an adapted version of it. Maybe something that takes some features from FS 17 Farmer's Tablet mod. There was a Farmer's Tablet mod in Farm Sim 17 that was phenomenal in almost every way. It was very cool, and I really wish we had that mod. So if we could get a combination of the PDA and that Farmer's Tablet mod, I would be a very happy pickle. Number 20 on my list, we got organic/conventional rating systems. So I want there to be a way for the game to rate the condition of your crop, how it was raised, how it was maintained, and how it is stored and sold, all that sort of stuff, to then determine its value and its marketability at where it can be sold. So if you focus on doing very organic, natural, whatever, blah, 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 then you might be able to sell it at a higher price at like a farmer's market with that refocused production chains. Or if you're focused on large scale, conventional, traditional crop production, you would be selling it more to like your ethanol plants or whatever, and your price and everything would be factored differently. That would be really, really cool. Included in on that, if you wanted, you could also include some of the fees, like drying fee if your crop is a little too wet. Remember, weather is a big part. I don't know, some kind of system to identify the condition of your product and then base its value on that condition. They already kind of have that a little bit with the environmental score. I'm just asking to expand that onto the crop itself. Number 21, we're closing up the list here now. We get the last few on the list. We've got Farming Simulator Educational Mode. I think alongside with arcade and simulation, they could even offer an educational game mode that gives interactive prompts and graphics and guides to educate the players as they play the game. Farm Sim can be educational from an agriculture and botany aspect, from a livestock and care aspect, from a business maintenance aspect. I mean, there's a lot that goes into this game, and it's a great educational opportunity for all of the kids or anyone who plays it. And I think Farming Simulator needs to lean into that by providing an actual educational mode that really leans into teaching you what you're doing. Next on my list is number 22, ag-related locations. So I'm talking auction yards for equipment and animals and whatever you may have. I'm also talking farmers co-ops, farmers markets, and any other, ag-related location or business. There's a lot of supporting business that goes into the ag community. Your seed guy, your spray person, all that stuff, So I think throwing all that into the game, making it more interactive with those locations, and perhaps even providing people the opportunity to work jobs or run those locations themselves within the game would expand it even further. Almost take Farming Simulator and think of it as an agriculture simulator. That is a good way to kind of see it. Next on the list, number 23, replace the tutorial with story mode. So a really interesting idea and concept going around is to include a story mode, and it's not a terrible idea. I'm actually down with that. I think it's a cool concept. I would actually like to offer the idea of replacing the tutorial with a story mode. You could keep it going on, or you can make it just a deal in the very beginning and then it kind of opens up to sandbox. Either way works in my eyes. I think that is a fantastic addition. Down to the last two, 24, expanded animal industry, more detailed animal industry features. So I'm talking like vets, auctions, trucking, anything to do with animals. We could even be talking about tagging them. You know, we could be talking about literally anything. I'm interested in it. If it's about the animals and we can improve it, we need to. And the last one on my top 25 requests for Farming Simulator 25 is going to be weather and disaster events. So I'm talking floods, droughts, storms, tornadoes, hurricanes, whatever it may be, wherever you are. I want to see the effects of the weather on the environment around you, and not only the weather, but the environment as a whole, Mother Nature as a whole. You know, maybe you have livestock, so you think, haha, I have livestock, so I don't really have to worry about those crops and that weather, ha ha ha. Well, maybe your wife's livestock gets hit with a disease, you know, maybe there's a sickness, maybe there's an outbreak. These sorts of things are very, very important about controlling and managing in the ag industry, and it would be really awesome to add them into the game as well. But that is all of my thoughts and ideas for the next Farming Simulator 25. I'm going to outright admit to you, most of these probably won't make the list. I would be surprised if any of these, or maybe some of them, but most of them probably won't make the list. So, Giants, if you do like any of these ideas, I do encourage you to add them, and also look through the ideas put in the comments down below by the community. I guess we'll see what we get whenever we get news about 25, man. I don't know. We might already have news by the time y'all see this. I'm excited, and I'll keep you all up to date moving forward. Peace.